The best way to use Kali Linux is installing it completely on a bare metal device. There are two ways that you can do this. You can grab an old machine of yours and erase whatever's on it, meaning the operating system such as Windows or Linux or what have you, and you can install Kali Linux to it fully. The second option is known as dual booting, which means that you have a copy of something like Windows and Kali Linux on it at the same time, but you can only boot into and use one operating system while the machine is turned on. I will show you how to dual boot in a different video, but for now we are going to install Kali to a machine and erase whatever contents are currently on it. Linux in general is great at running on old devices, so you don't need to go buy a fancy new computer to do this. Use whatever computer you're comfortable with having all of its data on it erased, so if there's anything important, make sure that you get it off of that computer first. Lastly, I'll say that there's not really any sort of ideal computer here, but what I will say is that if it has an Ethernet port available to it, that is always going to come in clutch, and a graphics card will actually help you crack passwords. For the rest of this setup that you're about to see, you will need a separate computer, one that you likely do work on every day and is either running Windows, Mac, or something else. We will not be erasing the data off of this device, and it will only be used to flash Kali Linux onto a USB stick. Once you have this computer, plus the computer that you want to run Kali Linux on, and your USB stick, go ahead and proceed on with the next section. We will start by web searching Balena Etcher and go to etcher.balena.io. You will then download Etcher. Choose whatever operating system you're currently on. Mine is Windows. Then you're going to search Kali download and head to Get Kali right here at the top, or kali.org. From here, you're going to select Installer Images. You are then going to pick the correct installer for your machine. If the device is an HP, a Dell, something similar, runs Windows, and is not a Mac, then you will likely just use this default installer here. If you are a Mac or Apple user, you can head over to this section right here, but I will not be covering how to install Kali on Macs. Once you've determined what your machine requires, which is likely just this installer right here, you're going to click the download icon in the bottom left next to installer. Once the file has finished downloading, we can select it from Balena's main menu. If you click select target and nothing shows up, you need to go ahead and plug in your USB stick. I will warn you that anything that is currently on this USB stick will be erased by Balena, so if you need what's on it, make sure you choose an empty one. Once your USB stick is plugged in, you will be able to select it from Balena. After this, you will hit flash and wait. Now that we have flashed our USB, we are going to plug it into the computer we want to run Kali on. From here, you will need to boot into the BIOS of your device. Different devices have different keys that allow you to boot into your BIOS. When you turn on the computer, you have to repetitively spam that key to ensure it enters the BIOS state. For instance, Dells like to use F12, and HP computers like to use F10. The moment you press the power button, you want to continuously press that key until it gives you the option to enter the BIOS menu. Once you are in the BIOS menu, you want to find your USB stick and choose to boot from it. As long as this has been done correctly, then it will boot into Kali and have you install it from there. If you are having issues with getting Kali to boot, it's likely because you need to disable secure boot on your machine. There is an interesting reason why this needs to be done that I do not expect beginners to understand yet, but believe me when I say that you will be fine. Secure boot can be disabled in the BIOS, and as each BIOS is different per computer, it is up to you to navigate yours. I will now guide you through the rest of the installation, but I do have a disclaimer. In order for me to show you how this setup is done, I am running Kali in a virtual machine. You will not have that same setup, although it will look very similar to what I have on the screen. Assuming you've gotten Kali to boot, then let's continue. So we've chosen graphical install, and now we're going to pick whatever language you want. Mine being, of course, English. I am in the US. American English from my keyboard is just fine. It is currently detecting our hardware. Since I'm running Kali in a virtual machine, it assumes I am plugged into the internet via an Ethernet cord. It will likely ask you to set up Wi-Fi, in which case you select your Wi-Fi network or the name or the SSID and then type in your password. I highly suggest you do this because it will prevent a lot of potential issues that may come if you don't. I will now guide you through the rest of the installation. You can name the hostname whatever you want. This is what it's going to appear over the network. I will just leave mine as Kali for now. You do not have to put anything in for the domain name, and you can put in whatever name you want for this new user. I'm just going to do /. Same thing for the account. You can choose a password, whatever it is you prefer. Going to configure the clock. I am in Eastern time zone, so I will select that. It is now detecting my disks. And what I am going to select, and what I recommend beginners to select, is to use the entire disk. And if you are a beginner just learning, do not worry about these other options here, such as the encrypted LVM or anything else. Here I have a 27 gigabyte hard disk. Now, if yours has an operating system on it currently, such as Windows or even Mac, you're likely going to see Windows or Mac on there, in which case you just want to select the Windows or Mac partition, aka the hard drive, and you're going to select it so Kali Linux can overwrite it. For new users, I do recommend files in one partition, and I will go over the rest of these options in a separate video. After this, we can finish our partitioning and write changes to disk. Click yes. On this menu, you are going to leave everything as it is by default and click continue. If you are asked this question, leave the default yes and click continue. When you are asked this question, you will select the hard disk and you will not select enter device manually, and you will click continue. After this, Kali Linux will ask you to reboot, in which case you just click continue. We can now log in with the username and password that we set up in the beginning. Please let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful or not helpful. If you ran into any issues, then please join the Discord and ask for help or drop a comment. As always, like and subscribe if you would like to become a better ethical hacker.